Welcome back to Alberta Primetime and the Vocal Point now. Stampede success is just the start. Albertans are smashing records again. How much do you think you spend eating out? And banks get new rules on how they must deal with you when you have a complaint. Our Monday Money panel tonight is Michael Ganley, editor of Alberta Venture Magazine. Shafiq Hirani is a senior director at Investors Group Calgary. And Todd Hirsch is senior economist at ATB Financial. Good evening, everyone.
Hi, Jennifer.
Hello.
Good evening.
Well, the centennial edition of the Calgary Stampede broke attendance records Sunday. Nearly 185,000 people rolled in. And a TD Bank poll at the same time shows 49% of Calgarians plan to spend at least $500 at the greatest outdoor show on earth. Todd, do these huge numbers indicate maybe an even bigger picture in our province right now?
Well, I'll tell you, this is the 23rd year I've lived in Calgary, and I have never seen the fever pitch around the Stampede as this year. You can feel the difference. Maybe it's the 100th anniversary, but it's also just the economic climate in Calgary right now. There's a lot of consumer confidence. There's a lot of people out there who are have job security, and they're out there spending money.
Shafiq, Statistics Canada reports Albertans lead the nation on discretionary spending on eating out, which of course, you know, the Stampede, a little bit of that. You get the fare on the midway and things. But overall, just going out for food and drinks, the newest numbers show we each spend $1,900 a year on meals and drinks. That was 2011 in April. Our tab, though, $640 million as a province, up 8% from a year ago, April. It sounds like a booming business.
Yeah, it really looks fantastic right now compared to the average person, which is around $1,500 to $1,600. Alberta is way in advance. And that's kind of what you'd expect if you take a look at Alberta, because we have the highest population growth, we have the lowest unemployment, we have the highest consumer discretionary income. The only thing is it is a little bit worrisome as well. And what worries me is that, you know, with this $500 on the Stampede and with this discretionary income, it starts to feel a little bit bubblish. And you know, we don't know if this $500 in discretionary income is on credit card. And we're also, as Albertans, very highly in debt. So, you know, there's two messages. One could be optimism, and the other could be a little bit of cautionary message in between.
Michael, what do you see in terms of the business itself, whether it's events in particular, we are into the summer season, or hospitality, restaurants in general? Are we getting through this trend maybe better quality restaurants, more imagination, the Vegas type of thing, or just higher prices and too many players in the market?
I think we're seeing a marked improvement in quality. In Calgary and Edmonton both, there's more high-end restaurants, more chefs moving there, more of a culinary scene that people are enjoying. I think it's remarkable with Charcut in Calgary, just to name one. There's many high-end chefs who are moving to Calgary, and Edmonton has Corso doing very well, really setting a new bar for the restaurant experience in Alberta.
Just kind of puts us more on the map, so not a bad thing there.
No, I think it's exciting.
And Jennifer, I'd jump in. The other, I guess, point to make is there's a lot of corporate spending being done on restaurant meals. Probably more so in Calgary, where you see those expense accounts and those entertainment accounts. You look at downtown Calgary, and they're full of people doing business at meals like that, both lunches and dinners. So there's that component of it, too.
But at 32% more than other Canadians, Albertans are really ringing up a tab. Todd, is it dangerous economically? Because when trouble hits, those are often the first things to go, and then you have a depressed sector of the economy.
Absolutely, and I remember in 2008 when everything kind of hit the brakes here in Alberta, you've noticed very quickly expense accounts were being curtailed, like right now. You know, capital projects and oil sand projects, those things take a little time to wind down. Things like expense accounts can get curtailed very, very quickly, and they do feel that. You notice that in the restaurant and bar scene here in Calgary, that all of a sudden there were a lot more empty tables.
Michael, Shafiq mentioned the Stampede fever as well, Todd. Can some of the peak that we're seeing right now, this incredibly successful Stampede so far, can it be pinned on the centennial? And also, is the signature Alberta event now reaching a pinnacle where, you know, they're running the Bulls in Spain right now? Are we getting to that level with the Calgary Stampede?
You compare it there, yes. And of course, the 100th anniversary, they've done a lot of marketing and a lot of promotion. A lot of excitement has been built around that. I think we'll probably see a bit of a hangover next year, the next couple of years, but I think the trajectory, and with the growth of Calgary itself, the ongoing population growth there, the Stampede is going to continue as a tremendous event.
Next up, new mortgage rules take effect today. Could they already be impacting Alberta's real estate market? And changes for banking complaints. More Alberta Primetime just ahead. Welcome back to Alberta Primetime. New mortgage rules take effect today. Maximum amortization drops from 30 years to 25, and home equity loans that were up to 85% of the home's value can now only be a maximum 80%. Todd, there's debate about the impact for real estate in Calgary. For example, right now, homes seem to be selling faster than before 2007 rates in terms of the speed of sales. Maybe not for more money, but what's that all about? Is there a link? Will we see any kind of impact?
Well, I think we will see an impact, and it will be a dampening effect on the real estate market across the country. There's no question about that. Fortunately, Alberta's real estate market is still in a pretty healthy position. So I think what we'll see is maybe not a loss in resale prices, but not as high as it would be going. And that's actually probably a good thing for Alberta right now. We see some froth building up in those real estate. Like you said, the number of homes that are selling and the speed at which they're selling. This might take just a little bit of the froth out of it. Overall, I'm not too worried about the changes. In fact, I think they're positive in the long run, but it will take a little bit of the steam out of the market for sure.
Shafiq, is investing in real estate with prices still, 2-3 times what they were 10 years ago, is it still lucrative as an investment, or owning a home? Obviously you need somewhere to live, but buying to rent, is it still an attractive investment?
Well, it's got its pluses and its minuses. Compared to traditional investing, which is just investing your own money, the nice thing about real estate is it has a leverage effect. So you can buy a $300,000 or $400,000 condo with only 20 to 30% down nowadays. So that in itself is good, as providing you get two things: providing you get rental income and providing you get capital appreciation. The problem right now is that the rental income is at all-time highs. And the real estate market, it's not just about demand and supply, but there's rent to owner occupancy, which is a very high ratio as well. So there are some things to be a little bit worried about going forward, especially if oil continues to drop. So,
sorry, you're saying that it's hard to find good renters, maybe?
No. Right now it's easy to find good renters. Okay. The challenging thing is that there's a 9-month delay between the price of oil and the price of real estate, so there could be a downward effect down the road.
Okay, gotcha. And Michael, you did an industry report, Alberta Venture Magazine did, on real estate in this month's edition. What did you find out about the industry in our province?
Well, not only that the real estate market, the residential real estate market is doing very well, but also commercial. And I think particularly in Calgary, you now see it approaching Montreal for the second largest commercial real estate market in the country, behind Toronto. It's now comparable. It has about 42 million square feet, comparable to cities like Philadelphia and Atlanta in the U.S. So, you see those towers going up in Calgary, and I think they're going to keep coming because the demand is certainly there. The rate per square foot is very high, too.
Todd, is there growth potential? Or are we nearly maxed out?
Yeah, absolutely. There's growth potential. It's always one of these games for these commercial developers, because once they sort of pull the trigger on the project and go ahead with it, they really have to hope for the best. And these oil prices can be volatile. We did see a big downward trend in 2008 and early 2009. And there again, you see all of these projects kind of reaching a screeching halt and a lot of empty holes in the ground. Fortunately, that didn't last very long for Calgary, not nearly as long as a lot of people were expecting it to, and now those cranes are busy again.
Michael, Alberta Venture has also come out with a list of the 50 most influential Albertans, and many are in real estate, many of those who made the list. Were you surprised by that trend this year?
No, I don't think so. And we weren't just looking at commercial developers. We were looking at people who work on the social housing aspect of things. On that list, we don't simply look for business people. We're looking for a much broader piece of society, broader aspects of society, people in all kinds of walks of life. So no, not at all. That there were. I think we could have had several more real estate developers on it had we.
So a bit of a sign of the times.
Absolutely.
Shafiq, does a list like the 50 most influential Albertans serve you at all? Perhaps some kind of a gauge, being in the investment business?
Yeah, you do want to look at the trends where, people are making a difference. And, life is about purpose, and it's not about what we do for ourselves. It's got to be what we do for other people. So I love Michael's list on how people are contributing back. In the investment industry, you're a little bit more macro-oriented, so you want to look a little bit more past just our borders and look at what's going on in Europe and Russia and the Middle East and the U.S. as well.
The Canadian government right now proposing an overhaul to bank complaints. It will open up mediation to private companies now. Banks can choose their ombudsman from a list of companies these are for disputes with customers that they can't resolve themselves. Canada's former independent ombudsman has been abandoned by some banks, criticized as expensive. So this is the new proposal by Ottawa. Todd, do you think that this is a good move? Will it be in the best interests of consumers?
Well, it's hard to say. And first of all, I should say ATB Financial, we are governed under a little bit of a different model. Disputes are settled under the Alberta Ombudsman. So just that clarification, if there's any confusion there. But I think that there is some question around consumer protection against banks. Not so much in Canada at the moment, but internationally, banks are getting a bad rap. And this could be part of a sort of a bigger trend, maybe moving into Canada, where consumers are going to start, sort of questioning what banks are doing.
Well, I know the government's trying to sell this by saying, we'll have standards. All those companies that will get in on this ombudsman business will have to meet our standards, and so hopefully that works out better for everybody. Before we say goodnight, I want to quickly go around and ask each of you what you're watching for the rest of your week. What's on Alberta Ventures' calendar?
Oh, well, there's a strike in Norway right now. We talk about the price of oil. Now, this might just be a small blip on it, but we were worried. I mean, the Alberta economy, the government finances are so contingent on price of oil. There's a strike in Norway now, and we'll see how long that goes on for. It'll certainly boost the price for oil for a bit.
Shafiq?
3 or 4 things. I mean, Spain bond yields rose above 7%, so it's getting pretty costly for Spain to afford their debt, and that could indicate a little bit of a run on the Spanish banks and a little bit more worries in Europe. Tomorrow, if you do want to tune into BNN, the RIM shareholder meeting is on, and last year at this time it was at $25 a share. Today it's at $8, so that should be pretty entertaining. And same like Michael saying, the price of oil.
Todd?
Well, I'm gauging consumer confidence by watching how long the lineups are to get onto a patio on 17th Avenue in
Good
Calgary.
idea.
And I can tell you in this 30-degree heat, they are long. So that's what I'm going to be watching this week.
Well, the two of you look like you are stampeding, and that's a good thing. Thank you all for your time tonight. Michael Ganley is editor of Alberta Venture Magazine. Shafiq Harani is a senior director at Investors Group Calgary, and Todd Hirsch, senior economist at ATB